The NFL shield is tails. What is the call? The call is tails. It is tails.
Enthusiasm and energy there from Brett Favre, inactive today, still suffering from the effects of a concussion received a couple of weeks ago, but you're looking at the man that owns nearly every passing record that exists in the NFL.
A living legend, and it's sad to see him go out on the sidelines, but I guess fitting that he did win the coin toss. It always was a great winner.
Rayner gets us going. This is Booker from the goal line. Booker with a couple nice nifty moves. Gets out just past the 20-yard line. John Windling hustling down on the tackle. So meet Joe Webb. He got his first NFL start last week, and he got a win.
And Adrian Peterson, the consistent force for the Minnesota Vikings, back in Hawaii at the Pro Bowl once again, playing at an outstandingly high level.
Webb, the 6th-round pick out of the University, met by DeAndre Levy. Meanwhile, up front for the Lions, Ndamukong Suh, he will go to the Pro Bowl as a rookie. He comes in with 9 sacks. That leads all NFL defensive tackles. A pickup of one on the play by Peterson. Back to Peterson. He's got a lane. Pushes his own man across the first down marker. And let's see where they mark it. I believe they'll move the chains. And Peterson leading the NFC in touchdowns with 13, and first down, picks up 10 on that play. Another Pro Bowl nominee here. In fact, the only Pro Bowl pick on the Viking squad this year.
And you can just book him a hotel around February for the rest of his career, because that's where he's staying. An outstanding player. He's got it all. Size, speed, elusiveness.
A little bit of a mix-up on the snap count. They get it off. A marker comes down. They complete it to Bernard Berrien, but the first call of the day to our referee, Walt Anderson.
Trout trying to get to the chains. He comes back for the ball. Ty Hill makes a nice break on the football to make it at least a measurement. I think he clearly has it.
Hill subbing in for the injured Chris Houston, who dislocated his shoulder last week in that win against the Miami Dolphins. You can see that will be a first down. The Vikings come into this game having beaten the Lions 6 straight times, including 16 of the last 17. But as we mentioned in our open, the Lions are hot right now. They're on a 3-game win streak. That's the longest current streak in the NFC. As you look at Jim Schwartz, second-year head coach, he said his team has learned to play better late in the game, and like all good teams learn to do, play well throughout the month of December. Webb shoots it outside. Boy, those are concussion balls. Peterson, no place to go. Ashley Palmer is all over him. That's a loss of 8.
Well, Joe Webb still is a rookie, and Adrian Peterson's going to go back to his rookie quarterback and say, young man, don't leave me out to dry like that. Ashley Palmer with an easy hit on Adrian Peterson. Peterson keeping his legs going, but as they told us, they need to swarm Adrian Peterson. The first guy won't bring him down that often. The Lions do a great job of swarming him and getting him down.
That'll bring up 2nd and 18. Kleinsofter in the backfield. He'll lead block. They'll go with the straight power game. Just get beyond the line of scrimmage, picking up maybe 2. Lions defense swarming all over, led by Levy. And John, a second game here in Detroit this season for the Minnesota Vikings. Remember, they were here week 14 versus the Giants after the dome roof back in Minnesota collapsed. The players were joking. They almost weren't sure which locker room to come into when they walked into the building. They were the home team that day. They're visitors today. This is the 3rd and 16. Webb with a hot one, and it's off target. Intended again for Berrien. And that will bring up 4th down.
The Vikings do a nice job of really giving Joe Webb the protection to get the ball downfield. And this is a ball I believe Berrien's got to go get. I think he kind of gets those alligator arms knowing he's going into the heat there. The young quarterback, you got to go in there, get that football. Missed opportunity for the Vikings.
Kluwe skies this one away. Nice punt. Stephon Logan. He'll look for a crease. Almost got through. Works the ball back up to the 25-yard line. 49 yards on the punt, 10 yards on the return. So the Detroit Lions at 5-10 will take over at the 25-yard line, led by their trigger man, that's Shaun Hill. Brought in a trade with the San Francisco 49ers. That ball tip coming out intended for Maurice Morris. And I tell you, John, Shaun Hill has gone through just about every injury you could go through. He's had a broken forearm, broken knuckle on his right index finger trying to throw the ball. That's his passing hand. It's been an issue, but he's hung in there. And it's not been for lack of protection. This offensive line really has done a nice job, led by left tackle Jeff Backus in his 10th year, held Cameron Wake, the NFL sack leader, to 0 sacks down in Miami last week. Two tight end look for the Lions. They'll try Morris on the right side. He puts his head down, picks up about 1. Right now, let's go down to the third member of our crew, Jennifer Hammond.
All right, thanks very much, guys. You know, Calvin Johnson was a game-time decision because of an ankle injury that had hampered him all week. He didn't practice. He came out this morning in pregame warm-ups, ran one route, and got together with the coaches and management and decided that he would play. He is active, not on the field right at the moment, but anytime he is out there, even at 70 or 80%, you got to account for number 81.
Movement on 3rd and 9.
Encroachment, number 98, defense. 5-yard penalty. It's still 3rd down.
LaTroy Guyon got a little antsy.
And that's critical for Minnesota because you look at Minnesota on 3rd down, there's nobody better when you get them in that 3rd and long situation, 3rd and 6 plus. But you put them in this situation right here, 3rd and medium, they aren't very good as a defense.
Makes it a little easier at 3rd and 4. It's complete. That's the tight end, Pettigrew, and Pettigrew will muscle his way through for the first down. Finally brought down by Jamarcus Sanford. A pickup of 6.
This is a guy in Brandon Pettigrew who's 3rd in the National Football League amongst tight ends, and he's become a force. You got Calvin Johnson outside. It opens up the middle of the field, and he's really taken advantage of it this year. Early on, he does as well with a big 3rd down conversion.
Behind Jason Witten from Dallas and Chris Cooley from Washington. A lot of people were screaming Pro Bowl for Pettigrew. Movement now on the right side for Detroit.
Start, number 78, offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
That's Corey Hilliard. For the first game break of the day, let's go out to Los Angeles and check in with Kurt Menefee.
Well, if the Falcons beat the Panthers, they're the #1 seed in the NFC. They're off to a good start. Matt Ryan, 6 yards for Tony Gonzalez. First possession of the game. Falcons have a 7-0 lead trying to take care of business. Ron and John.
All right. Kurt, thank you very much. Stephon Logan checks in the backfield. The swing pass out to the fullback. That's Felton. And Felton maybe 3 or 4. We'll set the Vikings defense. You know about Big Pat and Kevin Williams inside. Jared Allen leading the team, having a nice year, 10.5 sacks.
Just ask Shaun Hill. He'll tell you this is the best front 7 in all of football. I don't care about the record, Shaun Hill said. The best front 7 in all of football.
Boy, what a game Antoine Winfield had last week against the Eagles. A sack, a tackle, a forced fumble, recovery, and a touchdown, all on one play against Michael Vick. 2nd 11 toss to Logan. Logan, the punt return man and kickoff return man, doing it out of the backfield. He'll pick up a 1st down. Finally brought down by Greenway, a pickup of 12.
You mentioned Stephon Logan, but let's watch this blocking. And let's watch Jeff Backus. He's going to pull around and lead the way. That's a 10-year vet getting downfield, making the key block, and opening the territory. And you give Stephon Logan
Look at he ran over
a little
Viola.
ground. He's going to get that 1st down. Nice job. Nice design by Scott Linehan, the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions.
Job at best will check in. Check back in. He's been bothered by turf toe. Pressure on Hill. Hill gets it away. Another completion. And John, you were just talking about Brandon Pettigrew. Selected number 20 overall 2 years ago out of Oklahoma State. He has come up big for the Lions this year. That's 12 yards.
Yeah, and what Leslie Frazier, Fred Pudgick, the defensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings, are going to have to do. Calvin Johnson is active, but he's on the sidelines with his helmet right now. You better start focusing that attention to Brandon Pettigrew, or he will hurt you all day long.
The quick throw outside, that's Bryant Johnson, and Bryant Johnson showing a little power over Frank Walker. Pickup of 8 on the play as you look at Johnson. Well, you know you're a big-time player when the head coach, the general manager, the offensive coordinator, all the front office brass is sitting there talking about whether or not you should play today.
Also, when it only takes one route. We saw that route. It wasn't much. You say, all right, you're good, Calvin.
2nd and 2 play. An easy first down as the Lions move the ball and then some with Best. Javid Best, the first-round pick this year out of Cal, comes up with a nice 9-yard gain in the first.
And let's watch. It always starts with protection, and we're going to see Sean Hill, good play action, but do what he does best. He's got a lot of weapons. He utilizes them, and you get the ball to Javid Best. This guy is a home run hitter, as we saw last week in Miami. He can take it the distance. Every time he touches the football, he's a threat.
Logan out of the backfield. Lions will stay gun formation. Felton getting in on it. He takes the ball inside the 15. Very close to another Lions first down, brought down by Hussein Abdullah, pickup of 9.
You know, in studying the Detroit Lions on the coaches tape this week, I started saying, you know, players get hot sometimes. Scott Linehan, their offensive coordinator, he's hot as a play caller right now. He's spreading the football all around. He's running it here. He's throwing it here. Scott Linehan's doing a tremendous job, and he's reached more balance with this offense in terms of running the football more.
2nd and 1 carry for Best. Best will have the first down. He'll pick up about 5, works inside the 10. E.J. Henderson on the tackle. And John, I don't think you should look at the Lions' statistical numbers. They're ranked 17 overall in total offense, 24 in rushing. But as we said in our open, they're playing a lot better than their numbers.
Oh, they are. And you look at the ball distribution I was talking about. Early in the season, 65% pass. Last 3 weeks, 50-50. It's not coincidence that they've been 3-0 in my mind in those games. They found balance on this football team.
1st and goal pass inside. That's Scheffler. Scheffler loses the ball. It's recovered by Minnesota. But now one official is saying he was down at the 1-yard line. Another one saying touchback. The officials are going to talk it over. Here's a look at it again.
Watch Scheffler. The ball's clearly out.
The ruling on the field was a fumble recovered in the end zone by the defensive team for a touchback.
That's see.
And Detroit is challenging the ruling on the field.
Now the ball's clearly out. I think we need to see if he did extend it over the plane of the end zone.
Ben Lieber knocked it out. Sanford recovered. The play will be challenged. Ron Pitts, John Lynch. We are in challenge mode here in Detroit. The Lions challenging the ruling on the field of a fumble and a touchback. And right now we'd like to bring in our NFL official expert, Mike Pereira, standing by in the LA studios. Mike, you saw the play there. What's your take?
A lot of things to look at here. First of all, was he down by contact before the fumble? No. The shin was not on the ground yet, so you do have a fumble. Then you got to look at, did the ball break the plane? I don't think there's any clear evidence when you look here Without a down-the-line shot, you're really not going to see, so that part's going to stand. And then you add the actual recovery in the end zone by Minnesota. The recovering players actually look like he's out of bounds when he recovers the ball, but that's going to be a touchback anyways because it's a forward fumble into the end zone. Those three things, calls will stand at the end of the day.
And here's the call.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field will stand. It is a fumble and a touchback. Detroit is charged with its first timeout.
Mike, we just wanted to start you off with a lot for the new year.
Yeah. Well, and by the way, Happy New Year's to you guys.
Happy New Year to you, Mike. Thank you.
Mike Pereira, our official expert, doing a great job for us. He will be down in Dallas for the Super Bowl here on Fox and helping out the guys there in the booth as well. And Jim Schwartz, he's wanting a further explanation. I don't think he's going to get it. So as a result, the Lions will not only lose a possible score, they'll lose the football and a timeout. And they've done a pretty good job of spreading the ball around using 6 different receivers on that drive. Minnesota's, that was our 6th red zone takeaway this year. That's the most in the NFL. A little bootleg. Webb not running, but throwing a strike. And that's a first down. Klein Saucer, the tight end, will move the ball past the 30-yard line.
Well, you look at again, they're all set up to stop the run. You're going to see Delmas, he's out of the screen, but everyone's up in the box. It opens up the play action, and Joe Webb does a nice job with the play action. Kleinsesser finds the hole. Good job. If they're going to stack the box, the play action will be there for the Minnesota Vikings.
Back to the run game. The Pro Bowler and Ndamukong Suh is all over it. No gain on the play.
It's fun talking to Ndamukong Suh this week. You know, early in the week, no one knew, and everyone assumed that Brett Favre, his last game, was going to play. We asked everybody. They talked. He said, "I want to hunt him one more time." That's spoken like a true D lineman, and he's been hunting people all year long. Quite a player, very deserving of the starter position in the Pro Bowl, and this guy's going to be a force for years to come for the Detroit Lions.
Also making tackles as well as sacks down in the pit. He's got 60 tackles, call it 61 after that one. Pump fake, checks it backside there. That's Peterson. They'll pick up 6. John, you saw Joe Webb there on that last play, the play before. He didn't run with the ball, and I think last week against Philadelphia, wasn't quite sure of the offense. He admitted that, you know, still learning some things. He was more apt to take off and run. We talked to him last night. He said, listen, I want to be known as a throwing quarterback as well. I want to work on that.
Well, he understands. He's got great weapons outside. Sidney Rice isn't playing today. He's got Percy Harvin. He's got Adrian Peterson. He said, hey, the ball's in better hands when they have it than in mine. I want to be a passer in this league.
We'll get a chance to show that here. That's complete, and then some. That's Harvin. Look at Harvin. Percy Harvin still going. The team's leading receiver, last year's NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year, pushes the ball across midfield.
Let me tell you something. When I watch Percy Harvin, this guy plays the game the way it's supposed to be played. He finds the seam. Good, accurate throw from Joe Webb, but this is where he's at his best with the ball in his hand. He is strong-legged, never goes down on the first hit. And look at that effort. Big-time effort by Percy Harvin.
20 yards on the pickup, 5'11", 185, playing like he's 235. Play action, looking deep. He's got a man. Underthrown, intended for Harvin, but he let it go late. Amari Spivey breaks it up.
That's a good shot for the Minnesota Vikings and Joe Webb. One of the things I've been impressed with is for a young player, Joe Webb has great fundamentals. Look at that play action. Turns his back to the defense, sticks the ball out. And that's a good shot downfield. Now maybe he should put the ball up a little more, but a good shot stretching the defense of the Detroit Lions.
Play is stopped.
False start, number 17, offense. 5-yard penalty, it's still second down.
That's the wide receiver, Greg Lewis.
Greg Lewis got a little anxious. The Lions showed blitz off the corner with Nathan Vasher. Greg Lewis got a little anxious and jumped the gun.
Vikings now having an issue getting out of the huddle, getting the call in. The play clock is down under 10 seconds. And they've got to call a timeout. They didn't have enough men in the huddle.
Minnesota.
1:36 to play here in the first quarter. So the Vikings, with only 10 men in the huddle, had to burn a timeout to keep from getting penalized. We're looking at a 2nd and long, 2nd and 15. Lorenzo Booker checks in at the tailback spot. Now he flanks out. Webb under pressure. He's out of the pocket, lets it go. A man is wide open, and he overthrows it. He had Booker scot-free, couldn't hook up.
Well, that's one thing Joe Webb brings to the table. He brings the athleticism that if the pocket breaks down, he can go make plays. He just doesn't finish this play. You see the athleticism, he breaks out. He's got Booker coming wide open. That's just a throw you've got to make. Joe Webb's going to
think about it for a while.
For a long time.
Gerhardt and Booker in the backfield, 3rd and long. Checks it to Booker. Booker will have to get busy, and he can. The swarming Lions defense shuts him down, led by Bobby Carpenter. That'll bring up 4th down.
Nice job by Gunther Cunningham, the defensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions, and the Lions defense, just keeping the ball in front of them. You've got 3rd and long, keep the ball in front, come up and make a good tackle, and that's exactly what the Lions did.
So the Vikings, electing not to go for the long field goal, will punt it away and play field position. Cluey aiming for inside the 5, and with a little help from Sanford, he's going to do it. 28-yard punt. It's not about the distance, it's the field positioning. Well, after the holidays, if you're still hungry for laughs, then don't miss the grand opening of Bob's Burgers, a delicious new addition to Sunday's animation domination. Entertainment Weekly says a comedy this well done is very rare indeed. Bob's Burgers, it premieres 1 week from tonight after an all-new Simpsons right here on Fox. That's just what people need to do right now. Think about eating more, especially burgers. I could hardly get in my suit today. I'm a blimp. Time winding down here in the first quarter. A hot shot. That's Burleson, the former Viking. Chin strap up by your nose, but you can look like that when you make the catch, a pickup of 12.
And with Jim Schwartz and Sean Hill, the quarterback for the Detroit Lions, have to be telling their offenses, listen, we had a great drive. Unfortunately, we turned the ball over. Let's keep doing what we're doing. They're spreading the football. They're playing with great tempo. They just got to finish the drive.
Morris picking his way, barely getting back to the line of scrimmage. Williams, Kevin Williams is there.
End of the first quarter.
That's the end of the first, 0-0. Fox NFL Sunday will continue from Detroit right after these messages. Start of the second quarter here in Detroit. Ron Pitts, John Lynch, Jennifer Hammond. 0-0 game. Vikings bringing pressure. It gets blocked, going deep. He's got a step. That was Burleson, but it's incomplete.
Now, Ron, and you talked about bringing pressure. I've never seen the Minnesota Vikings bring so much pressure as they did with Michael Vick and the Philadelphia Eagles last week. They brought Antoine Winfield off the slot from the nickel position 16 times last week. Now, Leslie Frazier has some of that in his background, having coached under Jim Johnson in Philadelphia, but that was really a game plan thing. But there we saw the pressure early. It was very effective for him, and I would anticipate that it would continue.
This is a 3rd and 10. Knocked away. He was looking for Best on the crosser. Game break time. For an update on Carolina and Atlanta, here's Kurt Menefee.
If the Falcons win, they clinch home field advantage and the #1 seed in the NFC, and they're off to a great start. Eric Weems, 55-yard punt return for a score, and the Falcons are cruising 14-0 after one quarter. Ron and John.
And the flip side to that, if the Falcons lose and New Orleans wins, then New Orleans would assume their spot and have home field throughout the playoffs. This will be Greg Camarillo. Camarillo crunched at the 33. 55-yard punt, 5 yards on the return, 0-0. Ron Pitts, John Lynch just getting started here in the second quarter, and the speculations will, I think, always continue for Brett Favre. So much talk as to whether or not he was going to play today, recovering from the concussion.
Well, I thought right till the opening kickoff he was going to show up. You just expect that out of Brett Favre.
Peterson trying to get back to the line of scrimmage. And welcome into the booth. Happy New Year, Ron Pitts, along with John Lynch. And John, you wanted to see him, from an NFL folklore standpoint, play his final game here in Detroit.
Well, you sure did, because that's how you remember Brett Favre, for always being there for his team. The guy's a warrior, and maybe this is the only way that he will go home, is to not be able to play.
Webb forced out of the pocket. He'll pick up about 4.
But such a great player, though, Ron. I had the opportunity in his division when I came to Tampa in 1993 to compete against him really at the start of his career. And such a warrior, played at such a high level for so long, and the guy that, frankly, I respected more than any other player that I played against. He had so much fun playing the game, really one of the greats, and I believe as he gets away from the game, people will really start to understand how great he was.
Vikings looking at a 3rd and 6. Pressure. Webb steps up. No place to go. Now he'll start to stepping and getting close to midfield. He will pick up the first down. That's a pickup of 12 yards.
That's the one thing that Leslie Frazier has told Joe Webb. Be yourself. Play your game. Yes, we want you to be a passer. Look downfield. But if it breaks down, use your athleticism. This is a guy who ran a 4.43 coming out of school. That's as fast as Michael Vick. He's very good running the football, and that's a weapon that he should use.
That's Gerhardt. Gerhardt, he'll go inside for a couple. He'll pick up 4. And he is aware of the comparisons to Michael Vick. I'm sure definitely after last week. But as we talked earlier, he said, I've got to be able to operate in the pocket as a pocket passer to stay alive, to survive in this league. Lewis in motion. Lions showing pressure. A quick jump there by Williams, and a marker goes down. Gerhardt gets spun around on the hit, but I think they're going to pop Corey Williams.
Now, Corey Williams has been playing outstanding football.
Offside, number 99, defense. Penalty is declined. The play results.
I know what you're
down.
thinking. Maybe he just got a great jump.
No, but it's got to stop. He leads the NFL defensive players in penalties. That's his 13th false start of the season. You're right next to the football. Now, I was raised under Rod Marinelli, the D-line coach down in Tampa. He's at Chicago. And we had guys like Sapp have 16.5 sacks and have 1 offsides a whole season. Corey Williams is playing great football. Let me emphasize that, but you got to be able to stay on sides.
So the call stays. It was declined. So they'll stay with the play. It's 1st and 10. Gerhardt again. Gerhardt trying to cut it back. Works just inside the 40. He's met by Delmas, a pickup of 2. Gerhardt is one of your Stanford guys there, John. The 2nd-round pick out of Stanford. Another low-running fullback. Brings a load. We saw that in college. And he's been able to do a little of that here in the pros.
Yeah, you imagine being on the opposing side of the Minnesota Vikings. You get a good dose of Adrian Peterson, and then Don't rest on your laurels, because here comes Toby Gerhardt. Another load to bring down.
Play action to Gerhardt, looking for his comeback. It's not there. Then he throws it away just over the head of Harvin. Lawrence Jackson had the pressure.
When you run the ball as effectively as the Minnesota Vikings do, this is the 8th ranked rushing team in the National Football League, the bootleg becomes even more of a weapon for you, and that's what they've got to utilize with Joe Webb. They did it effectively in the win versus Philadelphia, and they're doing it very well here early.
3rd and 8. Webb holding it, throwing back across the field, and it's picked. Spivey with his 2nd interception of the year. They say never throw late and never throw late across the middle. He did both, and it's Lions ball. So with the takeaway, the Lions able to reverse the field position again. And John, this is an area where they've improved. The Lions come into this game with a +5 giveaway takeaway ratio, a big improvement from -18 last year. Fake to Morris, the quick throw to the tight end, that's Heller. And Heller loses the ball. Was he down? A hard hit by Antoine Winfield. He came low and hard like Winfield always does.
The ruling on the field was the runner was down by contact. It's 2nd down.
Let's take a look at this play here. Antoine Winfield comes in, puts his helmet on the football.
Ooh, ball's coming out.
That ball's coming out. I think so too.
That ought to be challenged, but so the play won't be challenged. 2nd and 4 give. That's Morris. But John, that's the kind of play that I think the Vikings have exhibited the last couple weeks here under Leslie Frazier. You're starting to see that old school, old style where they were aggressive, bringing guys like Winfield come up making big plays, hitting guys.
And that's when they're at their best, and that's what they've returned to. They've had so many distractions. Leslie said, I just want to see these players have fun, to smile. He's made practice more competitive, more game-like situations, and players feed off that energy. They're really loving playing for Leslie Frazier.
Inside pressure by the Vikings, a quick throw outside and a 1st down. A pickup of 5, that's Tony Scheffler. Scheffler brought in from the Denver Broncos in a trade this year. Boy, that was part of the plan that ultimately sunk Josh McDaniels out there, traded away half the team.
You start looking at this Detroit Lions offense. You look at the tight end position, Pettigrew, Scheffler. You look outside, you've got Calvin Johnson and Burleson. You've got Javid Best. I mean, this team is loaded with weapons. They're young players that are going to be here for the future, and they don't have their franchise quarterback in here right now.
They go with the end around to Burleson. Burleson looking for a block, makes a nice spin move, another nice move, and he's inside the Vikings 40-yard line.
Nate Burleson's really been a nice addition. They're going to sell the run to Stephon Logan. The toss, instead they come with Nate Burleson. And look at Dominic Raiola downfield, the center, getting a great block. 2 spins for Nate Burleson. Good execution again from Scott Linehan. Good creativity by this offense.
Missed tackles there by Sanford and Walker. Nice running by Burleson. They'll put it on the ground to Best. Nice play there in the backfield. Jared Allen got a hand on it.
Guys like Stephen Logan, he's a kick returner. We used to call him a something's up player. When he's in the game, something's up. There's balls going to him, or they're going to use him as a decoy. And Scott Linehan, the last 3-4 weeks, has really implemented him into the offense, and it's been extremely effective. He's run the ball out of halfback. He's done reverses like that. He's thrown the ball as well.
Picked as a Pro Bowl alternate on special teams. There's pressure and a collision at the quarterback. Allen along with Ray Edwards. And if Allen does his dance.
That's a race to the quarterback. A little mix-up in the snap count. Raiola snaps it early, and Edwards and Jared Allen say who's going to beat who. And they'll be arguing for that sack tomorrow morning.
That's right. That's funny the way those D linemen argue for sacks. They're a loss of 8. They will go upstairs and talk to the general manager to make sure they get a half sack credit. Third and 8, little screen, that's best. He's got some room. And a nice job of rallying around the football. Winfield is there, and that'll bring up 4th down. So the Lions will go for the field goal. This is Dave Rayner, signed week 9 in place of the injured Hansen. Jason Hansen, who went on the injured reserve list. Rayner hit 2 big field goals last week in the win against Miami. Gets it up high. It's got the distance. It's true. And it's good. 55 yards out for Dave Rayner. That's a season long for him. So the Lions, with some turnovers, march down close and then depend on Rayner to punch it through. So a season long for Rayner, a guy who's been with 6 different teams since 2005. He was with Cincinnati.
You lose Jason Hansen, who's been here forever, Mr. Reliable, and Dave Rayner's really come in 12 of 15 now on the year for the Detroit Lions.
Handling kickoff duties as well. This is Lorenzo Booker at the goal line. Booker with a nice move, and Booker is out the gate. Rayner possibly saves the touchdown. But a nice return there by Lorenzo Booker in good field position for the Vikings. So 1st and 10, pretty good field position, ball at about the 48-yard line. Vikings will pass, Webb in trouble. And he's taken down. Another nice play by Ashley Palmer.
Ronnie, let's go back to the last drive, and you see Joe Webb run right there. Well, I think he needs to start to do that. I know he wants to be a pocket passer, but let's look at this last 3rd and 8, the interception. He breaks out of the pocket. It's he and Bobby Carpenter, one-on-one. You got to go get that first down. Now, he looks open, but in the National Football League, guys close too fast. Amari Spivey takes advantage of his inexperience and makes him pay. I think Joe Webb's got to use those legs. It will open up the pass for him.
That one knocked away. Intended for Schenko. Palmer and get again involved on the play. But, you know, last week Palmer had some big plays in the special teams area. Forced a fumble on a punt. That led to early points and was basically just running around tagging guys.
Well, Ashley Palmer's a guy who flashes on the film. He shows up, still learning the position of linebacker. He's a guy they like, though, and are hopeful that he can elevate himself into a starting role next year.
Picked up on waivers this year from Buffalo. 3rd and 10, 4-man pressure. Webb, he's stacked up. Ndamukong Suh led the charge. A pickup of 4, and that'll bring up 4th down.
This front 4 is where it all starts for the Detroit Lions. Coming into today as a defensive line, the leader in the National Football League, the New York Giants, with 37.5 sacks. Detroit Lions had 37. This front 4 is for real. And Martin Mayhew, the general manager, has done a tremendous job of building this defensive line. They're all going to be here for a long, long time as well.
So Cluey will try to kill it inside the 10. Had success last time up. Great job of coverage by the Vikings. Did they get it in time? Yes, they did. Sanford pushes it away again. That's 2 in a row. Great special teams hustle by Jamarca Sanford. All right, you've taken care of everybody else this holiday season. Now take care of yourself. Check out the all-new Fox Sports app featuring complete local and national sports coverage, Fox Sports Radio, live scores, video, and more. Get the #1 sports app in America on free iTunes today. I'm going to go get that.
I've got mine.
Rich, you've already got it. Morris trying the left side. Nothing is there. Jared Allen along with Guyon got in the way.
And it's tough sledding running against this Minnesota Vikings defense. For the last 4 years, this is a defense that's been either #1 or #2 in rush defense. This year they've slipped a little bit to 8th in the NFL, but they've always been good, and it starts with the Williams wall in there. Pat Williams and Kevin Williams, the defensive tackles for the Minnesota Vikings.
We'll give to Best. Best turns it on. Gets out to about the 15-yard line. Will be about 2 yards shy of the first.
You know, and as I watch the Detroit Lions offense operate, and we've watched them throughout this year, I think it's almost a blessing in disguise that they've had so many different quarterbacks play. And when Drew Stanton went in, I saw a change in this offense at Scott Linehan. They started relying more on the run, and when you have balance, it opens up all these weapons you have, the Calvin Johnsons, the Pettigrews, the Nate Burlesons. It really opens things up.
Longest run from a running back today, 9 yards, and it's caught. An amazing catch there by Burleson. Looked as though at first the ball was going to be knocked away there by Shepard. He secures the catch and heads upfield. He gets 9.
And he's going to run classic sprint option. That goes back to the Bill Walsh days. Not a good throw by Sean Hill, but a great adjustment and body control. Dangerous throw by Sean Hill. And remember, he's coming off a broken index finger. Started last week after having been out for 3 weeks, and he's very honest when you talk to him. He can't spin the ball. He can't control the ball the way he really would like to at the quarterback position.
Screen throw almost dropped. Best holds on, but barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. And Vikings fans will remember Hill. He's a Viking from way back, originally an undrafted free agent in 2002. Went out to San Francisco as a free agent in 2006, named a starter by default in what was an absolutely chaotic year. Mike Nolan gets fired midseason as head coach. Mike Singletary, who just got fired this week, took over. First rounder Alex Smith, he was on injured reserve. J.T. O'Sullivan was just getting destroyed. They started calling him J.T.O. Smelling Salt after a while. Hill has been solid here for the Lions. He took a hit, gets it away. Maybe 3 for Best. Now for a Tampa game break, let's go out to Los Angeles and check in with Kurt Menefee.
A Buccaneer field goal was erased by a New Orleans penalty, so Tampa keeps on going and makes it pay. That's the rookie Desmond Briscoe, his first NFL touchdown from Josh Freeman. Tampa leads New Orleans 10-7. And keep in mind, Ron and John, if Tampa wins and both the Giants and Packers lose, Tampa's in the playoffs.
Thank you very much for that, Kurt. Good update on the NFC playoff picture. 3rd and 7. Check down to Morris. Morris has the first and then some. That is the 2-minute warning. The Lions pushing the ball down the field. That's good enough for 11 yards. John, you just made the point of how wrapped up and bandaged up Sean Hill is.
He's got the right index finger. Hard enough to throw in this league. You got tape on your right finger. He's got a splint from the fractured forearm on his left arm, but he's battling. That's what he is. He's a battler. He's a good backup quarterback.
Safety blitz. The quick throw, that's complete to Burleson. Burleson is twisted around by Greenway, a pickup of 7.
Sean Hill, another shrewd move by Martin Mayhew. Traded for Sean Hill prior to last season, and now it's proved invaluable.
Especially being that they only had to give up a 7th rounder. A high throw and a hit on Burleson. That was Hussein Abdullah coming over.
Try to get the ball to the dead zone in that cover 2, and here comes a cover 2 safety. with a nice hit from Hussein Abdullah, playing the position the way it's supposed to be played.
Boy, but did you see the way he pulled up and made sure he got shoulder in there? A direct response to all the fining that's gone on for leading with the helmet. 2 timeouts for both teams. 3rd and 3, check down, that's Best. Best turns the corner and gets out of bounds.
You know, one of the things Leslie Frazier said was critical in this game. He said, Sean Hill, we respect him, but he's a dink and dunk guy. He's going to check the football down. It's critical we come up and tackle. Hussein Abdullah, he's got to play to his help. Go take the outside leg or use the sideline, but you got to bring Javid Best down. And 2 third downs in a row, missed tackles have led to first downs for the Detroit Lions.
57 catches, now the most by a Lions rookie. Hill will be about 2-3 yards shy of the first down. Ray Edwards was able to gapple him up. Coming up at halftime, it's the Visa Halftime Report. Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. We'll talk about New Orleans and Atlanta. Plus other playoff coverage. Looking ahead in the playoff scenario. That one intended for Pettigrew.
Really, a missed throw is a missed throw, but I really think Sean Hill is struggling with his accuracy. This is an accurate quarterback. Came in today at 60%, and he's struggling on a simple throw like that. That's one he usually makes. I think that finger is bothering him.
Escaping on a 3rd and 3 is Hill. And boy, he's hitting Tony Scheffler. If you ever want a clinic on how to move your feet in the pocket, that's it.
When we talk about all the mobility of Joe Webb, but don't sleep on Sean Hill. This guy is a mobile quarterback. He does enough to keep the play going, extend the play, and that leads to a big 3rd down conversion.
9th-year man out of Maryland. His 10th start today. Matthew Stafford, of course, brought in 2 years ago as the anointed future of the franchise, but Stafford hasn't been able to stay healthy. He's on the injured reserve list after 3 starts, put on that list the day after Christmas. And as they say, John, you better have 2 very capable quarterbacks to make it through the NFL season these days.
And in Detroit's case, 3. And they've come in and they've done a nice job. And Matt Stafford, I think the one thing he showed me this year, when he is in there, he is a franchise quarterback. Now he has to prove that he can stay healthy.
Empty backfield. That's complete. Burleson again. Lions called a timeout on the play before. They have 1 left. Lions call a timeout. So the Lions without timeouts, 46 seconds left. Last time down in the red zone for the Lions, they gave it up at about the goal line. Movement.
False start, number 78, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Corey Hilliard.
Corey Hilliard's done a nice job filling in for Gosder Charles, who went out with a knee injury 3 weeks ago. Corey Hilliard's really filled in well. Helped Jeff Backus again against Cameron Wake, the sack leader. Held him to 0 sacks last week down in Miami.
1st and 15 throw. That's Scheffler. No timeouts are left. They got to hurry it up.
Hopefully Sean Hill realizes with 33 seconds left, enough time to get everybody over the ball, but you've got enough time.
Caught, touchdown. Burleson working for Shepard.
Well, I have a note on my notes here, Ronnie, that if Calvin doesn't play, somebody's got to step up and make those plays he typically does. Well, it looks like Nate Burleson's the guy stepping up to the task. Your number one receiver is out. He's active. He's not playing. Nate Burleson's the guy taking up and taking that mantle.
Burleson, 5 catches, 50 yards, and a touchdown. The extra point is clean, no flags. And it's all about the Detroit Lions as they look to 4 wins straight to finish out the season. 14-play drive. They converted 4 third downs on the drive.
Look at Sean Hill hanging in there tough. Splint on his left hand, tape on that right finger, but he's hanging in there and he's playing a good football game here today.
With a win today, the Lions will have 4 straight wins for the first time since 1999 and will avoid a last place finish in the division for the first time since 2007. But let's look ahead at the NFC playoff picture. Your division leaders on the left there, Atlanta playing for home field, but a loss and a Saints win, and that will flip. The Saints will have home field in the NFC.
And Tampa fighting valiantly against the Saints, trying to stay alive. Now they're going to need help. Tampa has to win. Green Bay, New York have to lose. A lot going on here today. I think a great decision by the league to have all these division games on the last week of the season makes for great excitement in terms of the playoff picture.
Booker with no one to block for him. It's almost like the blocking left. He was lucky to get it back up to the 15. John Windling on the tackle. Well, next weekend, the NFL's second season begins as the NFC's best teams go head-to-head to see who has what it takes to go to the NFC Championship and advance to Super Bowl 45 here on Fox. Fox's coverage of the postseason begins with the NFC wildcard game. That's next Sunday in high definition right here on Fox. Well, the league wanted parity a few years back, and they've got it. It comes down to the final straw just about every year now. That's Peterson over the right side. And that will make it academic here in the first half. The Detroit Lions up 10-0. Fox NFL Sunday will continue with the Visa halftime report after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. Hey, be sure and follow your favorite NFL team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. And welcome to the booth, Ron Pitts, along with John Lynch. John, you hate having played just this past Tuesday.
Well, and they're playing like a team playing on 3 days rest. I mean, this is unprecedented in the National Football League. Very much creatures of habit. They're used to their normal rest, and you played on a Tuesday, and they're flat. Yeah. And, you know, you don't have a lot of time to prepare. Detroit, on the other hand, like a team that's won 3 straight and really excited about finishing. It's 10-0 right now. Remember, Scheffler fumbled going into the end zone. This should be not this close.
And you look at the halftime numbers. You can see the time of possession there, of course, in favor of Detroit. Turnovers. Each team is taking their turn and turning the ball over.
And if I'm Minnesota and Leslie Frazier, you gotta do something to spark your team. I think you start bringing that pressure that was so effective last Tuesday night on defense, on offense. You got to open this playbook up. Get Joe Webb throwing the football downfield, using his legs, his athleticism. Get Adrian Peterson involved. You got to spark your team.
And a chance here for Logan. You see his return yards the most in the NFL, and that could be big because the Vikings kickoff coverage team ranks the worst in the NFL. Logan pushing his way out to the 35. Decent return, good field position as they mix it up down there. And let's go down to Jennifer Hammond.
All right, thanks very much, guys. You know, Jim Schwartz told me that he said it was a heck of a drive to end that first half. Good thing they get the ball now. He said we've just got to stay consistent, stay aggressive on offense. There are going to be some drives, some plays for Calvin Johnson later on. They need to make sure that defensively that they control number 14 on their feet. As for Leslie Frazier, he said they've got to get off the field on third down.
All right, Jennifer, and yeah, Johnson doesn't have a catch. Hasn't really been involved. We'll keep an eye on that situation. First play of the second half here, the handoff, that's Morris. And Morris for a couple.
If you're Minnesota, you've got to get into those third and long situations where you thrive as a defense. Detroit's been doing a nice job getting in the 3rd and 4s, the 3rd and 5s, and they've been converting. 6 of 8 in the first half, and that's what Leslie Frazier's talking about. You got to get off the field. Sean Hill doing a nice job, having spread the ball to 8 different receivers. Not throwing it downfield, but their guys are doing work after they catch it.
The tight end Scheffler has it. And depending on the spot, that will be a Lions first down. Jamarca Sanford on the tackle.
And I think Leslie Frazier, knowing that he's got to do something to spark his defense, brings the pressure. Scheffler's going to do a nice job of knowing he's the hot receiver. Sean Hill does a great job of getting the football to Scheffler, the hot receiver, on the blitz.
And it will be a first down pickup of 8. Morris with a hole. Maurice Morris are running right at the heart of the defense. The Vikings ranked 8 overall in the NFL in rush defense.
I mentioned it in the first half, but I like the fact that Scott Linehan, the offensive coordinator of the Lions, is continuing to run the football. Last 3 games, remember, 50-50 run to pass. That's different than this offense has been all year. I think a big reason why they've been so successful of late.
They're content with just pounding it. They believe they can line up man to man and pretty much just punch Minnesota out. That's Morris again. Defense holds tight. That's Pat Williams on the tackle.
And you look at what it's done now, running the football. You're set up now with the 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3 situation. This is not where Minnesota's good as a defense. They've given up 70% conversion rate on 3rd and less than 4, last in the NFL.
Hill in trouble. Look at Hill, and Hill will scramble through for the first down. He picks up 4. And there's a Lion down. First and 10. That looks like Corey Hilliard, the right tackle. We'll check on him when we come back. 10-0 Lions. So Hilliard is helped off the field. The rookie Jason Fox, 4th-round pick out of Miami, checks in his place. Don, you mentioned this early. The Lions down really to their 3rd right tackle. Gosder Sherrillis, the 1st-round pick, is out for the year with an injury. Pressure inside by the Vikings. And a roundup there, that's Best. Fred Evans jumped on his back there late.
Much like I thought, Fred Pudgick, the defensive coordinator, Leslie Frazier are starting to bring the pressure, trying to put a little spark into their team. They bring the blitz. Perfect play call again by Scott Linehan. The toss outside, Best gets good positive yards on first down.
Second down and 7. Quick throw outside. That's Johnson. Johnson spins. And he'll have a first down. A missed tackle there by Frank Walker. And Greenway, a pickup of 18.
This is a banged-up secondary. Asher Allen, who was filling in. It's now Frank Walker in the corner, and tackling has been the problem today for the Minnesota Vikings. Leslie Frazier knew it coming in. We've got to tackle well. Detroit taking advantage of their inability to tackle.
Scheffler's been active today. A quick swing route out to him. He picks up a few. Winfield there on the tackle.
It's easy for Calvin Johnson to rest that ankle when the offense is working so efficiently in the first half. 8 different receivers Sean Hill spread the football to. Said, we don't need Calvin Johnson right now. Calvin, you stay and you get that ankle right for next year.
Yeah, well, they don't need him the way that Nate Burleson has been playing. Take the draw. Hill looking for the comeback there in the end zone and just throws it away. Ray Edwards had the pressure. That's going to bring up a 3rd and 7.
Now, these are the kind of third down situations that Minnesota wants to be in. This is where they really thrive. That front, Jared Allen, Ray Edwards, Kevin Williams, they can get after the opposing quarterback. 3rd and 7 plus. They're the number 3 third down defense in the National Football League. This is where they're at their best.
Going up top, looking at single coverage, and it's not even close. It's Brian Johnson, man-to-man by Lito Shepherd.
Lito Shepherd, they show pressure coming from the left side and then bring it from the right. It's Antoine Winfield coming. Sean Hill gets the ball out of his hands, and Brian Johnson can't locate the football.
So they bring on Rayner. Rayner's already hit from 55 yards out. This will be 37. Ooh, he gets a nice draw on it, and it just sneaks in the right upright. So the Lions with another nice drive. Can't convert on 3rd, but they convert and get 3 more points on the board. A look at the Lions scoring drive, 11 plays, 47 yards. Couldn't convert on the 3rd, so they settled for another field goal by Rayner. Booker, 2 yards deep. Gets out to the 18-yard line. Just sneaking in at the last second. Wow, that was close. So a 1st and 10, ball at the, well, we'll call it the 17-yard line. More like the 18. That's Peterson. He'll get 3. Delmas is there.
Always a good decision to give it to Adrian Peterson. But really what I think the Minnesota Vikings need to do is open it up. This is how they started the second half last week in Philly on Tuesday night. A deep ball down the field to Percy Harvin. Need to get Joe Webb going, get him some juice going, throw the ball downfield, get him involved in the game.
Back to Peterson, and Peterson with a strong run. And that will be a Vikings 1st down. John, you told a funny story about Adrian Peterson the first year you met him over at the Pro Bowl.
Well, he was a rookie in the Pro Bowl. I had been there a couple times. And this was 2007. And Steve Hutchinson, their great left guard, pulls him over and introduces to me. And we're sitting at the pool bar. And I said, Adrian, can I buy you a drink? He said, thank you very much, sir, but I'm trying to win the MVP. Well, you know who won the MVP that year?
He did.
Adrian Peterson.
Peterson again. Peterson with that downhill, hard-running style. Ranked 2nd in the NFC in rushing. Right behind Michael Turner from Atlanta. But boy, you begin to wonder how long can a guy last, because he will dish some punishment. I mean, he's one of those guys that will come around the corner, lower his head, and he'll try to hurt you.
Yeah, but he's a highly conditioned athlete. I think they made it a good decision by bringing in a guy like Gerhard, take some of the load off.
Right.
But this guy, he's going to play a long time at a high level.
Fake to give, and they go with the end around, and it gets crushed. That's Harbin with the play. But Delness and Averill are all over. That's a loss of 5.
And it always starts up front. And you watch these two guys. They're the guys that make the play with this Detroit Lions. They bring the blitz. Cliff Averill goes up to his contain where he's supposed to be, and sure tackling Louis Delmas finishes the deal.
Delmas named a Pro Bowl alternate this year. Second leading tackler, coming in with 78 tackles on the team. 3rd and 12. Webb in trouble. Webb will go down. They'll blow it dead. Lawrence Jackson was there first. And that'll bring up 4th down, a loss of 8.
I want you to watch what Gunther Cunningham's going to do. They know they've got a mobile quarterback. They drop Cliff Averill. They get pressure from Lawrence Jackson, and there comes Cliff Averill. He sees that he's under duress. He comes, finishes the deal. Lawrence Jackson, another trade that Martin Mayhew brought in here, and Cliff Averill. That's why they're so excited about this front four moving forward here in Detroit.
Cooley punting away to Logan. Logan should have some room. Oof, some hard hits. 3 Vikings round him up. 52 yards on the punt, 4 hard yards on the return. Pressure makes everything better. 6:47 here in the 3rd quarter. The Lions up comfortably 13-zip. Vikings defense hanging in there, but not getting anything from the offense. It's been a rough day so far for rookie quarterback Joe Webb. Best bouncing, and gets bounced, maybe a pickup of 1. And the Lions, as we said earlier, on a 3-game win streak. It started with the defeat against the Green Bay Packers. They knocked out Aaron Rodgers. There you saw Stanton to Heller for the touchdown pass. Then they beat Tampa Bay 23-20 in an overtime win. And this just last week, they came back, scored 10 points under 5 minutes of play in the 4th quarter to beat the Dolphins 34-27. They bring Lieber on the outside. He gets a hit and an interception. That's Allen. Allen could score. He will score. No flags down. Count it.
And there's Jared Allen, and I think it's fitting that their best player on defense would make the play that they needed so badly. They needed something to spark them, and it's Jared Allen, as he does so often, that's there to get it. Let's watch Jared Allen. They're going to bring pressure from Ben Lieber. He kind of drops out, just reads Sean Hill, and what an athletic play. That is so hard to do. He catches the football, runs down the line of scrimmage, gets a block from Lieber, and goes in for the pick 6.
36 yards, the 2nd interception of the year for Jared Allen, and it's a big one. We talked about the offensive woes for the Vikings offense. Well, Allen says, I'll take care of that. We'll do it on defense. And just like that, the Vikings are back at this thing in the season finale. The first career interception for a touchdown for Jared Allen.
He's telling his D-line coach, Carl Dunbar, all about it. Hey, I just sat back, I read him. But again, I can't emphasize how difficult that is to do, to catch a ball at that close of range. Great job by Jared Allen.
This is Logan. Logan almost taken down there. Is able to squeeze out a couple more yards. Well, this February, see NASCAR's biggest race like you've never seen it before. It'll take place at the newly paved Daytona International Speedway, where drivers can now go 3 wide. It's sure to be the most competitive and exciting Daytona 500 in recent history. The NASCAR on Fox season begins with the running of the Great American Race this February only on Fox. John Lynch is excited about going 3 wide like that.
Detroit's in 2 wide. That's what I know.
They'll hand it to Best, and Best will get 4. John, that was the Vikings' first pick 6 of the season. Interception for a touchdown. Last week you had the fumble caused by Winfield for a touchdown.
Really their first sign of life here today. I mean, it's been a team that, as we talked about at the half, looks like a tired football team. And they have excuse to be, but now hopefully that can get them some life for the Minnesota Vikings.
Quick screen outside, and you see the Viking defense now flying around. Quick throw to Best. But the Vikings are all over it.
And whatever you want to call it, momentum, juice, energy, so often you look to your best players to make those plays to spark your team, and that's exactly what Jared Allen. You see a different defense out here, fly into the football. Now they've got to get off the field on 3rd down, which has been a big problem for them today.
A loss of 2 on the play. Hill in trouble, still alive, and basically throws that one away. Jared Allen again with pressure. That will bring up 4th down.
You watch Jared Allen, he gets the pick 6, goes and takes a couple downs, rest, and then they bring him in on 3rd down, and he's the guy who flushed Sean Hill out of the pocket. Sean Hill, I think, trying to find Tony Scheffler. I really think, as efficient as he's been, 20 for 25 at halftime, that finger is bothering him on some throws he generally makes.
Nick Harris skies it away. Camarillo making some nice moves. Gets back to the 39-yard line. Well, coming up next on Fox, our Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader continues with America's Game of the Week as the NFC North champion Bears battle the Green Bay Packers as Green Bay looks to secure a playoff spot. Or you'll see the Giants, Redskins, Cowboys, Eagles, or Cardinals, 49ers. Coverage begins after our game right here on Fox. Check your local listings for the game in your area. So a 1st and 10 now for Joe Webb and the Vikings. Joe can breathe a little easier. At least he's got some points at his back finally, courtesy of the defense. Empty backfield throw. And that's Harvin. Harvin will have about 4. John, it was interesting talking to Leslie Frazier the other day, and he talked about some of the things that he did differently from Brad Childress when he took over. And one was, he said, I want to try not to micromanage things. I wanted to let my coaches coach, but I have to oversee the big picture, meaning offense, defense, and most importantly, the special teams. Movement, 2nd and 6, they got him. Pressure backside and a sack, but I think it's going to be wiped out. Averill comes around the corner, but I believe Williams was offside.
And I hit that in the first half. It comes back to bite you.
Offside, number 99, defense. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
It's his 2nd today, now his 14th of the season for Corey Williams. The earlier one was declined, but 2nd time he jumped offsides, and you can't keep doing it. You've got to watch the football. You see Corey Williams not even looking at the football, and when you guess at the defensive line position, even a rookie quarterback's going to take advantage of it with the hard count.
So that'll bring up 2nd down and 1. Peterson will get the 1 yard easy, then some. Right now, let's go to Los Angeles for an update. Tampa Bay and New Orleans.
Yeah, while everyone was talking about the Saints' playoff chances today, don't forget the Buccaneers, game tied at 10 in the 3rd quarter. Michael Spurlock takes the kickoff and runs it back 69 yards, set up a field goal, and Tampa leads at 13-10. Ron, I'm sure that John Lynch knows a Buck win, a Packer and Giant loss, Tampa is in the playoffs.
Line saucer in the backfield. AP tried to throw it back, but Eric King was there. He blitzed and shut it down. A loss of 4.
They come with the corner blitz. They call that cat blitz in the National Football League. You really can't see Eric King coming off the corner. Here he is. He gets in the backfield. That's something Joe Webb with maturity will know that you got to check out. He's unaccounted for. You watch AP, sometimes discretion, sometimes the better part of valor, and he holds on to that football, or maybe Cliff Avrill's going the other way.
I was going to say, maybe a good thing he didn't get rid of it.
This is the first charge timeout, Minnesota. 30-second timeout.
Timeout by the Vikings. Frazier at 51 years old, 4th year with the team. He is still in interim mode. You know, depending on what reports you read, John, that some people say that he has begun talk with owner Ziggy Wilf and that group to talk about whether or not he'll be retained as the formal head coach. And other reports say no talks have begun. They're scheduled to begin next week.
You know, and I think the most important thing, in talking to Leslie Frazier yesterday when we sat down with him, I asked him point blank, do you want this job? And he said, my goal is to be the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. Ideally, this is the place where I want to be. There's good players. There's good people. I think we can build something for the future. And let me tell you something. This man deserves his opportunity. He's put in the work. He's won a championship, a Super Bowl as a player. He's won it as an assistant coach. He's got a great background with great influences. Guys like Mike Ditka, Andy Reid, Tony Dungy. I think he's ready, and I think the Wilfs would be wise to make it official and make Leslie Frazier your head coach moving forward.
2nd and 16. Check down throw to Gerhardt. Gerhardt still about a good 11 yards. I'll call it 10 yards shy of the first. Prince Miller there on the tackle. And the drama this year, well, let's go back to December 12th. The Metrodome, the roof comes down. Game against the Giants switched to here in Detroit. They're the home team. The next weekend, stadium not ready. They have to play there at the University of Minnesota field. And then on Tuesday night, after the East Coast snowstorm, the Vikings stay over town an extra 2 days, but get the win. And Joe Webb shines in that performance, runs for a touchdown. And the Vikings look like the old Vikings, especially on defense. And there's a good throw and a catch. That's Harvin for a Vikings first down.
Well, I think that's a large part what Leslie Frazier has shown me. His poise, his leadership, under all that happened since Leslie Frazier's been named the head coach. Now, they had so much drama earlier with Randy Moss, with Favre coming back or not coming back, but that all of those situations happened since Leslie Frazier has become the interim head coach, and I think he's handled it with poise, with leadership, and these players believe in Leslie Frazier.
Time winding down here in the 3rd quarter. Play action. Buys a little time, decides to go short. That might be a grand total of 3 yards on the pickup. That's Naufahu Tahi touching the ball for the first time today. He's the fullback. And owner Ziggy Wilf presented the game ball to the Detroit Lions for their accommodations on that day when they not only had to get all the equipment out of the Metrodome after the roof had collapsed, they painted the field up here in Detroit, and it kind of looked like the Metrodome away from home, so to speak. At least it had to be. That's the end of the 3rd quarter. 13-7, 4th quarter coming up here in Detroit. We start the 4th quarter here in Detroit. Ron Pitts, John Lynch, Jennifer Hammond down on the sidelines. Got a 13-7 game. 2nd and 8. Webb goes for it, and that's something he didn't do in the first half, John. You talked about that a little bit.
And that's what he needs to do. When he's got grass, now everyone makes a big thing about Michael Vick's become more of a pocket passer. Well, what's happened with Michael Vick is that he thinks pass first, but he's not afraid to use his legs if it's there. And that's what Joe Webb needs to do. Right there, he saw it. He got good yardage. It puts him in a manageable 3rd and 3 situation.
call it 3rd and 2 officially. The catch, but I believe, let's see how they mark it. It's right there on the line. That's Harvin. Eric King is on the coverage. We'll check the spot. They're going to have to measure this. Boy, it's awful close. And a late penalty marker goes down. I don't know if that's excessive jaw-jacking or not.
I think they got Louis Delmas. He didn't like the call, and he let him know, and Walt Anderson didn't hesitate to throw the penalty.
So there you go.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 26, defense. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
So, yeah, there you go. Now the chain gang doesn't even have to go all the way out and measure. Louis Delmas just gave him the first down.
And that's something that just can't happen. You may not like the spot, but you got to go about it professionally, and it's an emotional game. Guys are into it, and they're working hard, but you can't let your emotions get the better of you, and that really hurts the Detroit Lions. Moves the Minnesota Vikings into the red zone.
Going to the corner. Ooh, and a late grab there by Delmas. Ball probably uncatchable. But he got away with one.
I think you're right, Roddy. He gave a little tug to Percy Harvin. I think the only thing that saved him was the fact that the ball was indeed uncatchable. Joe Webb basically with the throwaway in the corner of the end zone.
First trip inside the red zone today by the Vikings offense.
I tell you, that penalty woke up this Detroit crowd. And they're up on their feet trying to implore their defense.
The give to Harvin. And Harvin is hit hard, scraping down the line. Ashley Palmer, he holds it to a 1-yard gain. For a quick update, let's go to Kurt Menefee in L.A.
Chiefs have already wrapped up the West. Oakland trying to go undefeated in the division this year. Michael Bush, good game so far, 26 yards on the run. He's got 128 thus far, and Oakland has a lead 17-10 in the third. Ron and John.
All right, Curtin, we've got a hot one here, 13-9. Here in the fourth quarter, 3rd and 9. 13-7, excuse me. The middle screen, and it's shut down. Kleinsasser was hit hard. Prince Miller was there, a pickup of 1.
That's really good defense. A well-designed play by Darrell Bevel, the offensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings. Fakes the throw to Greg Lewis left, fakes the throw to Adrian Peterson and Jim Kleinsasser in the middle. But look at that swarm of Detroit Lions defenders getting to the football, playing with great energy. This Detroit Lions defense all day long.
This is Longwell from 28. No markers, it's clean. So the Vikings march down the field, first trip in the red zone, come away with 3 points. We've got a 3-point game. A sold-out Ford Field here in Detroit. The Lions selling out 7 of their 8 home games this season. Pretty impressive, John, when you consider how much trouble the rest of the league has had in that department. You look at the scoring drive there, 12 plays, 52 yards. The Vikings answering back-to-back scores after being shut out through 3 quarters. Logan gets calf roped up high. And they'll mark it around the 25. Schwartz telling Delmas, better chill. "12 minutes to play, 3-point lead for the Lions. Pressure inside by the Vikings, they pick it up. Going deep, Burleson. Is he inbounds? A late marker comes. They spot it as a catch. He's working on Frank Walker, but let's check the marker.
Looks like defensive PI on Frank Walker. Frank Walker says, who, me?
The ruling on the field is a completed catch. Pass interference, number 41, defense. That penalty is declined. First down.
Remember, it's Frank Walker in for Asher Allen, who's injured. And a nice job by Linehan. They need momentum has shifted. You need some momentum back on your side. Take a shot downfield and go after the corner, who's typically a backup in Frank Walker.
33 yards on the pass play. Best for a couple. Pat Williams is there.
I'll tell you, Javin Best, Ron, as we've covered the Lions, this guy has been a warrior this year. Turf toe on both feet. It's a devastating injury for a running back. He's limping off right now, actually. But he's battled through it, and the last couple weeks playing on that grass, he's looked closer to health. And you have a feeling each time they give him the ball, he's about to bust it.
Second and 8 pressure and a screen. Nice call, but a great play there by Ray Edwards. He shuts down Brandon Pettigrew. Pettigrew might have gone the distance. A pickup of 1.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They run a zone dog. They're going to come with the pressure with Ben Lieber right up the A gap. But watch Ray Edwards. Earlier we talked about the fact that they weren't tackling in space. Well, here you go. This is how you defeat the Detroit Lions. You have to tackle in space. And Ray Edwards does a great job of doing just that.
Third down and 7. Another quick throw. There's Morris. Morris has the first down and then some room. He's inside the Vikings 30-yard line. A pickup of 13.
Look at right here. They're going to bring the pressure from the left side. Morris is going to run the angle route. He's the hot receiver. Nice job by Sean Hill locating him. Another third down conversion for the Detroit Lions.
John, you talked about other guys being forced into pressure and forced into playing time with the injury to Best. Maurice Morris was one of them. Ball's up for grabs, and it's incomplete. Intended for Johnson. Let's go to Los Angeles for a quick update.
Tampa keeping its playoff hopes alive while dashing New Orleans' division dreams. 4th and 1. Josh Freeman throws it up. Mike Williams goes to get it. 20-10. Tampa leads right now, but you know what? It may not matter for New Orleans because Atlanta's taking care of business against Carolina. 31-3. If the Falcons win, they clinch the South and home field throughout the playoffs. Ron and John.
All right, Kurt. 2nd down and 10. Throwback incomplete. Intended for Pettigrew. And John, I might as well just tee it up right now. Can you see Michael Vick going back down to Atlanta for the NFC Championship game, quite possibly?
I can see it. I can see it. And I tell you, what a comeback story for Michael Vick. And the way he's played, I think they've got to get him healthy this week. He was hurting after Tuesday night. They're hurting with Antoine Winfield and this Minnesota Vikings. They need to get him healthy. He needs those legs right for the playoff run, but certainly a team capable of making a run.
Vikings sack Vick 6 times. Looking deep. Caught. Johnson. And they are just working over the Vikings secondary. He beat Frank Walker.
And on this drive, they're working over Frank Walker. You're going to bring pressure. You're going to create one-on-ones outside. Frank Walker needs to turn, locate the football, but continue to run downfield. Sean Hill taking advantage of Frank Walker on this drive.
A challenge flag has been thrown out by Leslie Frazier. He got it out just in time before the play went off. Most likely challenging whether or not he was inbounds and had possession.
Challenging the ruling on the field of a completed pass. Timeout.
Oh, that left knee.
Great challenge by Frazier. Now the question is, does Walt Anderson feel like there's enough evidence to overturn the call in the field, which was a catch?
Great job by Leslie Frazier getting that challenge out in a hurry.
We're in challenge mode here. Leslie Frazier threw out the red challenge flag at the last second to challenge whether or not Brian Johnson made the catch inbounds. It looked like his knee hit, but it also looked like he may have gotten the elbow down. Hard to say.
And I think that's going to be the difference maker. Walt Anderson underneath the hood, and you can't tell from the replay, is it that left knee or the right forearm that comes down first? And Mike Pereira back in LA is thinking the same way, telling us he doesn't think it will be overturned because the fact, yes, the left knee lands out of bounds, but has that right forearm already landed inbounds. I believe that this play will stand. But that's just me.
Here comes Walt Anderson with the call.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Minnesota will be charged with their second timeout.
So now the Vikings down to one timeout. That could be big here. But I think it's a challenge that Frazier had to make.
I think so as well. And he had to make it without the benefit. Good job by Sean Hill getting up to the line of scrimmage. He didn't have the benefit of looking at a replay, which maybe would have swayed him from challenging.
So the 23-yard reception counts, but look at Hill's numbers. That's the guy trying to throw the ball with his throwing index finger wrapped up.
Those are good numbers. You know who else is good? Mike Pereira. I mean, his percentage on this year. He acts like he's done this before.
I don't even think he has his fingers wrapped up. Morris with a lane touchdown.
I tell you what a great drive by the Detroit Lions. Momentum since the Jared Allen pick had started to shift towards the Minnesota Vikings. 10 unanswered points. And Sean Hill and the Detroit Lions offense answers right back and makes it a 10-point game if they convert on this extra point.
Morris's 5th touchdown of the season. The extra point is clean. And we tried to warn you, these aren't the same old Lions. Hence the score, 20-10, here in the 4th.
There we see Maurice Morris, who just went in for a touchdown. And we've talked about coinciding with the Lions' hot streak here, winning 3 games, is the run football game. And watch these 3 blocks. Jeff Backus down, Brandon Pettigrew down, Stephen Peterman pulls around, and it's a walk-in for Maurice Morris. Detroit Lions learning how to run the ball effectively. It's opened up their pass game. It's been very effective for them.
10-point game, 9:29 here to play. This is Booker. Booker tripped up. That's Eric King. On Friday, it's one of the most anticipated bowl games of the season as the LSU Tigers take on the Texas A&M Aggies in a rivalry that goes back 110 years. Our exclusive coverage of the 75th AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic live from Cowboys Stadium begins Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, and high definition on Fox. And my partner John Lynch will be involved in that one.
Yeah, I'm fired up for some college football. Going to be down there, part of the studio show, working the LSU sidelines.
Well, he's been watching tapes all week long. A full season worth. Webb will let it go to no one. And John, I talked about earlier how the Vikings secondary getting torched up a bit, but in all fairness, they're playing without their top 3 cornerbacks. You're talking about Cedric Griffin. He's on the injured reserve list along with Chris Cook and Asher Allen out today.
Yeah, and when you're down to your 4th, 5th, 6th corners, what do you do as an offense? You go after them. And that's exactly what the Detroit Lions have done, even with Calvin Johnson on the sidelines with his helmet in his hands.
They'll hand it off. That's Peterson. He'll take it to the 30. He picks up 5. And John, these are the moments where a Brett Favre really helps your offense. I mean, of course, he was known for the comebacks and how he was able to pull games out. We're talking to Leslie Frazier yesterday. He said, I just love the guy's competitiveness. Even in practice, he always wants to win.
One of the all-time great competitors, one of the all-time great quarterbacks, one of the all-time great football players, but it's Joe Webb on this 3rd and 5 who they're trusting in.
They block it up, and it looked like it was dropped. Harvin started out hot today. A couple quick possessions and receptions in the first quarter, but he couldn't hold on. That'll bring up 4th down.
Well, that's a good throw by Joe Webb. You got Percy Harvin on Prince Miller. You got to like that matchup. He delivers the strike. Percy Harvin drops it. Plain and simple, you got to make that football catch.
3rd, he'll get a shot. Bad snap, picked up nicely by Cluey. He did well just to get it away. And it'll be down around the 22-yard line. And we talk about Favre, career records in attempts, completions, 3,000 yards season, surpassing the 10,000 pass attempt mark and 70,000 passing yards. That's mind-boggling.
Well, I'm looking through their weekly release, and in a game he's not even starting, and it's been expected that he might not start all week. They have 9 pages dedicated to Brett Favre, and it's not fluff, it's all real stuff. I mean, this guy, he's #1 on top of the Dan Marinos, on top of the John Elways. This guy's #1 in virtually every major passing category. But what lasts with me is the way the guy competed, as you were talking about, the way he had fun playing football, the way you're supposed to play this game.
Best tried to cut it back and gets faced up there by Ray Edwards. A loss of 2.
You know, Ron, I have this vivid memory of being up in the playoffs, I think in 1997, as a member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And we're facing and we're giving it the Green Bay Packers all they can handle. And I look at the most crucial moment. It's 2 minutes left in the game. Brett Favre's over there doing the YMCA with his guys in the huddle. I mean, the biggest moment, and he's out there having fun. And I think that's why he resonated with so many people. Not only was he great, he enjoyed what he did, and you should.
2nd down and 12. That one thrown behind the receiver. But a marker comes out late. That's in the backfield.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 93, defense. Late hit to the quarterback. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
It's going against Kevin Williams. And John, ironically, with all the accolades and numbers we mentioned on Favre, his first NFL completion was to himself. Versus you guys, versus Tampa Bay, September 13th, 1992. And you remember he had stepped in replacing, at that time, who was the anointed one? Don Majkowski.
Magic Man.
Yeah, Majkowski twisted an ankle. That was the end of Majkowski and brought on the legend. That's Best trying to get around the corner. Thought did a nice job of staying in bounds, keeping the clock running. And you look back at his career, drafted in the 2nd round by Atlanta in '91. Then traded to the Green Bay Packers in '92. That's when he stepped in for the injured Don Majkowski. 3 NFL MVP awards. Wins the Super Bowl 31. Then the retirement hit. Then out of retirement hit. That was a 1 year and done. Then he came back out of retirement and got the Minnesota Vikings to the NFC Championship game last year. They go back to Morris.
I got to tell you, Ron, of all the things Brett Favre has done in his career, the most impressive to me, that streak of 297, I think 297 straight games. That, to me, is the greatest streak in all of sports, the greatest accomplishment, the greatest feat. I had a coach tell me once, your best ability is availability, and no one embodied that more than Brett Favre.
Nice play in the backfield. Jared Allen, the fire starter here in the 2nd half. He got it going with the interception for a touchdown. Now makes a great play there on Morris. That'll bring up 4th down. Looks like he's explaining something to Dunbar. I think that's one of those, John, where he was supposed to go left, he went right, but still made the play.
What are you doing? Great play, Jared. And that's, Jared Allen's kind of, to me, a Brett Favre of the defense. That guy's always John. He's always high energy, but he gets the job done and has been a great player himself.
So Nick Harris comes on to punt it away. A little pressure, gets it away clean. Camarillo will take it up to 14. A great job downfield, open field tackle by Brian Clark, the wide receiver. Hustling down 41 yards on the punt.
There is no foul for running.
A loss of 3 on the return.
The defender was blocked.
You talk about being tough and the streak of Brett Favre. You look at these guys chasing them, still have a long way to go. Peyton Manning, Rondé Barber, London Fletcher, Jeff Backus. Now Peyton Manning has to play for another 5 years without missing a start. The thing that resonates when you watched Brett Favre play, he didn't play it safe. He was running all over the field, taking hits, but he showed up every week, and I respect the heck out of him for that. I think so many people are tired of all the drama on and off the field, and they've kind of soured on him, but as he comes away from the game, I think they'll really appreciate how much this guy's meant to the game of football.
Harvin holds on. We'll get about 9 yards on the reception. And you look at the guys behind him now. We're not talking about some bums behind him. You take the NFL career touchdown passes list. He leads that at 508. Number 2 is Dan Marino at 420. Peyton Manning, 3rd at 394. Fran Tarkington, 4th. That ball tipped up and nearly intercepted there. Averill got a hand on it. But you're talking about some the greatest quarterbacks in the league, in the history of the league.
You'd sure love to have him on this 3rd and 2 situation. 5 minutes left in the game.
Who's he waving to? I think
he's
trying
waving
to get Joe's attention. If he sees something, he's trying to let Joe know.
If you just see him, the way he's twitching, he wants to be on that field.
3rd and 2. Looked like Joe didn't want to give Peterson the ball. He did. And it'll be a first down.
You know what they're doing there? They're running what Joe Webb ran in college, the spread option. He's reading that defensive end and makes a wise decision. This defensive end right here is who Joe Webb's reading. If he caves down, he gives the ball to Peterson, and he does right there.
That's complete to Shenko. And that's Shenko's first catch of the day.
They really got to get the tempo going and start getting some balls downfield.
Webb will take it, dances, will get it down to about the 38-yard line. Bobby Carpenter on the tackle.
Remember, all you need is a touchdown and a field goal to tie this football game. So it doesn't matter which comes first, the field goal or the touchdown, but you got to start moving a little more expeditiously.
Hot one over the middle. That's Shenko, his second catch of the day. They'll mark his forward progress. Vikings there with 1 timeout left. Lost one there on a challenge. Second and 2 throw, that's complete. And that's Harvin. When you watch Webb work here, you just can't help but think how nice it would be to watch Favre one more time in this situation try to go down the field. Almost a circus catch. Throw outside to Greg Lewis. Let's go to Los Angeles for a quick update. Here's Kurt Benefit.
Games with playoff implications when you guys are done. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers host the Chicago Bears. A Green Bay victory. They are in the postseason. Should the Packers lose and the Giants win, New York clinches a playoff spot. Regardless, we'll keep you updated on all the games. That's game 2 of our doubleheader when you guys are finished. Hey, we'll miss you this offseason, Ryan and John. Take care, guys.
Thanks, all right, Kurt. Thank you very much. We've got a 2nd and 10. And a little low, but caught. Well, mark it at the Lions' 35-yard line. That's Greg Camarillo. with his first catch of the day.
Joe Webb doing a nice job. Now, Brett Favre has said it best. When you have a 2-minute situation, just keep moving the chains. That's what you've got to do, and that's what Joe Webb's getting done.
And moves that one, but it's out of bounds. Intended there for Berrien.
When you're a young quarterback, Ron, this is the toughest situation there really is. You got two factors working against you. You got a young quarterback making his second start in Joe Webb, and you've got a team who's on 3 days rest. So you really haven't been able to practice an extensive game plan as much as you would like to, particularly with a rookie quarterback like Joe Webb. The 2-minute situation, oftentimes the toughest on a young quarterback.
I think he's getting some signals from Favre there on the sideline. You saw Brett with the double thumbs up, bobble snap, and he gets it to Harvin. And a pickup of 5. Webb in trouble, gets out of it. Here comes Sue. Sue pushes him down. And Ndamukong Suh credit for the sack as he chases down Webb. That's the 2-minute warning. So 4th down here, and John, you teed this up earlier. The Vikings need a score in whatever order they want to do it. But they're going to go for the field goal here. This will be 48 yards out.
Yeah, so for everyone saying, why isn't Leslie Frazier going for it? You need 2 scores. Doesn't matter how you get them. You're going to have to kick the field goal and then likely go for the onside kick.
Longwell punches it, and it's clean. So there's your 3, and they'll remain 7 behind.
Do you want to see what put Ndamukong Suh in the Pro Bowl and the type of effort that has a guy with now 10 sacks on his rookie year? Watch this effort. Now remember, Joe Webb runs a 4.43 40. That is burning. That's blazing. Ndamukong Suh doesn't have the angle, but he goes and makes that play. He lets them know, you aren't running away from me. Ndamukong Suh, one heck of a player.
And you can see the most sacks now by a rookie defensive tackle in NFL history, a half sack away. Only needs 3 for the team record in a season. A Lions team record that dates all the way back to 1983 and Doug English. And when you talk to him, a very polite young man, says yes sir, no sir, and smart. They say he's been lobbying now to draft other guys from Nebraska. He's been going to Gunther Cunningham and say, hey, you got to look at this kid, look at that kid, he's pretty good. Go to the Pro Bowl / general manager. He'll be up in Martin Mayhew's office soon. Now onside, and it's caught by the Lions. Nice job there by the guy who's really done a great job all day long, Nate Burleson.
What a great effort by Ryan Longwell. I mean, that's what you want out of an onside kick, and he's a master of this. He hangs it up, drives it into the ground. It hangs up, but Burleson goes and gets it. Burleson, as you mentioned, Ronnie, one heck of a day stepping in, filling the #1 receiver role for Calvin Johnson.
I don't think Everson Griffin knew that the ball was there. Number 97, he had a chance to go up and get it. He almost ran past Burleson.
You can't put D-line back there to recover an onside kick. He was supposed to go clear it out. He's got to locate that football.
So the Lions now will try to make this one fairly academic. That would be best. Will drive forward for about 4 or 5. A timeout, the final timeout, called by Minnesota. And the last time the Lions won 4 straight was back in '99. The #1 song was "Smooth" by Carlos Santana. Were you dancing to that, John?
Oh yeah.
The #1 movie in America, Toy Story 2. I probably went to see that along with everyone else. And the price of a gallon of gas was $1. Was it really that low then?
Boy. Oh, boy. And remember, this is a team that just 2 years ago, 2008, 0-16, historically bad. That's what leads me to say Martin Mayhew, the job he's done providing the infusion of talent that's led to this mini turnaround at the end of this year has Detroit Lion fans very optimistic moving forward.
So no timeouts for the Vikings. That's Morris for a couple. A win today for the Lions. And like we said, that'll be 4 straight for the first time since '99. They will avoid a last place finish in the division for the first time since 2007 by virtue of a better divisional record. As you look at the Martin Mayhew bio, he is the general manager for the Lions.
Now, I played with Martin down in Tampa, and he was always a very conservative guy, but since he took over, 18 trades. So he's been very aggressive. He knew they needed some talent. He knew he wanted to draft well, which they've done, but he also went and supplemented that by trades, by free agent signings. He's done a tremendous job.
And they'll keep it on the ground. That's Morris again. And on the flip side of the 4th win thing, a loss today by Minnesota. That will mean the Vikings will finish in last place, a last place tie for the first time since 1990. If we have time, bonus coverage coming up, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New Orleans Saints. Right now, that's a 7-point game. The Buccaneers up 20-13 with 5:43 to play. That game with definite playoff implications, especially for Tampa Bay. They need a win and help. Well, what might be, and most likely be, the final look at Brett Favre on an NFL field.
The Detroit Lion fans are recognizing their team, but also recognizing Brett Favre. They're aware it's going to be his last time on the NFL sidelines, very likely. Now, no one believes that until the season starts next year. As we've mentioned, one of the greats of all time. Pleasure to have had the opportunity to play against him, to watch him as a fan. We wish you well, Brett.
Away, ball rolls into the end zone. There'll be 10 seconds left. You know what's most impressive for me, John? We talk about all of his accolades, all the records, the milestones. This will be only his 2nd career losing season playing in the NFL. Now, you talk about what stats mean and don't mean, but that stat right there says it all.
He's a winner, and he has been, and played the game the way it was supposed to be played.
Fun guy to talk to off the field, and a fun guy to watch play football. Check down to Harvin, and they'll go with the crazy lateral. Throw it all the way back across the field. It's Lewis, the marker's down. John, this remind you of anything from Stanford?
We're going to have some fun. They said this is our last play of the season. We're going to have some fun. Look at Joe Webb.
It ends up with Joe Webb. Wow, this is a long play.
Keep it going, Joe.
And that's how it will end here in Detroit. The Lions with 4 in a row. Brett says goodbye. Brett, we thank you for the memories, partner.
Pass number 12 of the receiving of the offense. That penalty is declined. The game is over.
The final score here in Detroit, the Lions 20, the Vikings 13. That's it. Happy New Year to everyone. Let's go to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.